Hey everybody, what is happening? Mint Alpha Lotus here with you. Just still ironing out some technical difficulties. Still really only my second ever stream, so apologies in advance if anything goes horribly wrong today. Um, we are very excited because the new Edge of Eternities set is up on Magic the Gathering Arena as of yesterday. But yesterday there were like a whole pile of challenges on Arena, a lot of technical glitches, and the servers were down for a while, and then they were very laggy. I really wanted to get some limited in yesterday, maybe a draft or something like that, but the servers were not agreeing. They had to take a few things down here and there. And by the time things finally came up and were a little more stable, I was like, let's just hold off to stream today. So today I'm planning on doing a sealed deck challenge, I guess. I don't even know what they really call them these days, but very exciting. I was last week I played in the pre-release event where you get a sealed pack, and it was really fun. Like I kind of put together an Orzhov deck that had a couple of neat rares in it, and it was pretty powerful. Some great warp effects for aggro to get creatures in early. Do a few things on turn 1, turn 2 that you can't normally do with 3-drop creatures that, if you can warp them in for cheap and then just get a couple of value effects off of them, it is absolutely fantastic. But I wanted to start off with Sealed because the thing about Sealed on Arena is that the floor for Sealed is quite high. The ceiling is very low. So, for instance, if you do Sealed and you lose every game, you're still coming out pretty even. But if you win every game, you don't win a ton. It's not like Draft where, you win quite a lot. You're still, looking at 3 packs either way. I mean, you get your entry back if you completely, win all 7 games. But it's not like Draft where if you lose everything, then you're way behind. And when you're first getting used to a set and trying to get used to the cards, that can be really helpful. So without any further ado, let's start in on a sealed here. What do we get in our packs? Oh, this is the most exciting thing. Let's hope to get a few bombs. Now, your rares are not the Tezzeret and Anti-Causal Vestige. That's fantastic. Bioengineered Future is amazing. So is Frenzied Baloth. Frenzied Baloth, I think, is going to shut down quite a bit of control in the standard environment, which is amazing. So for Tezzeret, we're going to have a lot of artifacts to make that viable. Now, maybe that's Lander tokens. Lander tokens are fantastic in this set, and with something like Bioengineered Future, I can see maybe doing a green counters deck. We're going to have to look at, what we get. But yeah, Biotech Specialist is fantastic. So, I mean, that combined with Tezzeret, if we're going wide with a ton of landers, that's amazing. Anti-Causal Vestige is just an incredible warp creature. You can warp that in for 4 and then just drop something from your hand onto the battlefield. Rust Harvester, I'm not familiar with this. Exile an artifact card from your graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Deals damage equal to its power to any target. Maybe. I don't know. There's probably a world where green-red works well here. But yeah, I can foresee getting potentially a lot of landers down. Maybe using Tezzeret to that advantage. But we have to look at our commons and uncommons. Rares aren't everything, but it is kind of cool that there's definitely a bit of strength in red and green here. And we do have these colorless cards that could potentially fit into any deck. Obviously, Tezzeret has to be in something with a lot of artifacts because he only gains counters when an artifact comes into play. So not fantastic if you don't have a lot of artifacts to mobilize this guy. But if you can tutor for artifacts with the -3 ability. And then yeah, the -7 is pretty good. You can create some pretty hefty creatures with that. Okay, so let's see if we get something that, you know, permanently generate or continuously generates artifacts. That would be the dream. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at what we have in every color. Now, white has got some pretty good stuff. Focus Fire is good. Starport Security, I'm not really that thrilled on, and to get 3 of them is a little bit unfortunate. Emergency Eject is a fantastic removal spell. Opponent creates a land or token, but that's not a big deal. Rayblade Trooper is a great card. Creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Whenever a non-token creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Fantastic for going wide. Also, Night Luminary is absolutely amazing for going wide. You can warp this in for 2 and get a 1/1 human soldier creature token. And then on turn 4, you can do the same thing again, and then he sticks around on the board. Starfield Shepherd, fantastic uncommon. Definitely, I would say probably the best uncommon in white, possibly the best uncommon in the entire set. Rescue Skiff, also fantastic. When this spacecraft enters, return target creature or enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That is stellar, literally and figuratively. And Weftblade Enhancer is quite good as well, in my opinion. When this creature enters, put +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, and you can warp that in for 3 as well, which makes it fantastic. Yeah, the Starfield Shepherd, the fact you can warp this in for 2 kind of gives it like a planes cycling ability where you can just go grab a planes card. I got one of these in my pre-release deck, and I found this was invaluable to early game plays. I was playing a very aggressive deck, and frequently there's not a lot to do on turn 2, and making sure, even in an aggressive deck in this format, you have got to hit your land drops, especially in the first 3, 4, 5 turns. It's really important. And if you get this a bit later, like if you have nothing to do on turn 4, you could always, and if you have a few land in your hand, you can potentially go tutor for a 1-drop, which is the other fantastic reversal of this. Now, the downside of it is the 3/2 flyer for 5 mana is not fantastic. It's good. I mean, it's really good, but the 2 toughness makes it pretty easy to get rid of it. All right. In blue, we've got Cryo Shatter, which is good. It doesn't blow my mind. It's replaceable, but it's a good card. A traditional like blue kind of enchanted creature gets -5/-0. When it becomes tapped or is dealt damage, destroy it. So unlike a lot of the more traditional blue quasi removal, like in the last set we saw Sleep Magic or Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum, those would tap the creature. This does not. So the opponent can at least chump with it once. And like a lot of blue stuff, it doesn't shut down like permanent effects, things like that. So good spell, not, mind-blowing. Cryogen Relic is incredible. It's like the synthesizer from Kamigawa, where, 2 mana, when artifact enters or leaves the battlefield, you draw a card. That's even more powerful than the synthesizer was, because that would put a card in exile, and then you had to play it before end of turn. And then you can also sacrifice this at any time to put a stun counter on up to 1 target tap creature. That's a great ability. Absolutely incredible. I would say this is, for blue, it is definitely a top common. Probably not the top common, because I think that goes to Codecracker Hound, which is a 2/1. You can warp this in for 3 and then play it again later for 3. And it's basically a Sibsig Appraiser. When this creature enters, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put 1 in your hand, the other in your graveyard. And that's incredible. Like a great way to kind of smooth out your draws in the early game. Play it on turn 3 for warp, and then play it later again to get a body on the ground. As a body, not fantastic. It's a 2/1, but I mean, that can like trade with a lot of attacking creatures. So for blue, like for blue control deck, this is exactly where you want to be. It's a cheap creature that, can trade with pretty much everything in the format. Now, there are a lot of 3/3s on the ground as well. But yeah, no, that's great. Ilvoy Light Jammer, it's okay. Not great. It's an equipment. You can flash it in, attach to target creature control, gets hexproof. So I mean, it's an equipment that's basically a combat trick, which is all right. The equip cost on it is quite high. If the creature that it gets attached to when it comes in gets burned out, then yeah, like to re-equip it for 3 is not great. And then, if you re-equip it, doesn't get hexproof, so it has a bit of diminishing returns. It's mostly playable as the combat trick. Mental modulation, I think, is a nice little kind of twiddle effect. It's, again, okay, if you're playing it on your turn, it's only 1 mana, but realistically, I think it's a little better to play it on opponent's turn in control decks. If you're some sort of blue aggressive deck, you'll definitely want to play it on your turn. The fact that it replaces itself with the draw card, that's great. I would definitely play that. Ilvoy Infiltrator is a fantastic uncommon that it's basically Thieving Magpie. It's a jellyfish rogue, 1/3 for 3 mana, can't be blocked if you cast 2 or more spells. So blue has this theme where it's all about casting, multiple spells in a turn. And so if you can get this and say like the mental modulation out, then it can't be blocked, and whenever it deals combat damage, you draw a card. So that's quite good. Lost in Space is kind of like an eject, or some sort of bounce spell. It's got that nice Surveil 1 on it, and yeah, opponent can choose to put it on top of or bottom of their library, so it doesn't even go back to their hand, which is great. It's good for tempoing. Starbreach Whale we have 2 of, which is a fantastic card. 3/5 flyer for 5. When it enters, Surveil 2, and you can warp this in for 2. So turn 2, if you need a land, if you need a creature, whatever you need, you can kind of surveil to figure out like, what am I getting in the next couple of turns? So yeah, definitely. Mouth of the Storm is also quite good. 6/6 for 7, flying with ward 2, and when it enters for the opponent's whole next turn, their creature is -3, -0. So again, in control, it's great because it basically gives you a turn where opponent probably can't attack you. Hilderblade, I had this played against me by a guy in the pre-release, and I could not believe how powerful this is. For 1 black mana, it comes down, equipped creature gets +3/+1, and at the beginning of your end step, it's got Void. So if something left the battlefield, it can be equipped to target creature. So it's got an equip cost of 4, but, if, say, I play this out and I warp something in, and it warps out at end of turn, then this thing just gets automatically equipped to some creature. So you rarely ever need to pay the equip cost. If you're in some sort of combat and a creature dies, then at end of turn, you don't have to pay the equip cost. There are a lot of ways to activate this. Black actually seems really strong here. I feel like I've actually got some good black stuff. Blue is okay. Bonesaw Prospector I love. Creates a lander token when it dies, and it's 2/1 for 2, which is, again, great for if you're trying to play a little bit more control-ish, because, I mean, this thing can be aggressive, but it also blocks a lot of stuff and trades. And when it does trade, you get that lander token, which is amazing. That could work really well with Tezzeret. Depressurize is an incredible black removal. A little bit like Vane's Treachery, a little bit. It's 2 mana, instant. Target creature gets -3/-0, so I mean, you could use it as a combat trick, but if its power then is less than 0 or less, then it gets destroyed. So anything that's 3/4, 3/3, 3/1, yeah, that's great. Fire Speedle makes a return. Always a great card whenever that comes out in a set. When it enters, each opponent discards a card. 1/1 for 2 mana. Great stuff. Fell Gravity Ship is a good card. When it enters, mill 3 cards, then return a creature or spacecraft card from your graveyard to your hand. And if you can station this up, it's a 3/2 flying lifelink spaceship, which is nothing wrong with that at all. Voidborn is good too. Whenever this creature or another creature or artifact you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Excellent. Absolutely great. Temporal Intervention's not... I don't even know if that's playable, to be quite honest. I don't think... Yeah, anyway, it's a sorcery that's 3 mana, void, spell costs 2 less to cast if an on-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, or a spell was warped. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an online card from it. That player discards that card. It's like, it's okay. I mean, the fact that it's 3 mana means you're probably not playing this on turn 1. I can't even think of an example. And like something like Duress, which was 1 mana, and that's it. You can play it on turn 1. This is like a much worse Duress. Blade of the Swarm is okay. 3/1. When it enters, you can either put 2 1/1 counters on the creature or put target exile card with warp on the bottom of its owner's library. Not getting very excited over a 3/1 for 4 mana. Entropic Battle Cruiser was our rare, though. That's absolutely fantastic. 4 mana for, you know, a station ability. So if you can station this for 1, whenever an opponent discards a card, they lose 3 life. If you can get it stationed all the way up to 8, then it's a 3/10 flying death touch, which is pretty fantastic. Whenever it attacks, each opponent discards a card. And if they can't, then they lose 3 life. So that's pretty good. I mean, it gets its like the quasi ability a little bit early where, you know, opponent discards a card. So that's pretty darn good, because I mean, stationing for 1 is generally not a challenge. I mean, often there is something on the board that can station this to, you know, make opponent lose 1 card for 4 mana. So, you know, not bad. I would say definitely better than Temporal Intervention. Gravblade Heavy is not very good. I'm not even going to go through that. And then Grav Kill, absolutely fantastic removal spell. Exile target creature. It's similar to Sephiroth's Intervention from the previous set, but you don't gain life, and it exiles instead of destroys. Plasma Bolt, perennial red common card, deals 2 damage to any creature, and if you can enable Void, then it deals 3 damage, which is, you know, that's okay. There are a lot of things that are 3 mana in this format, or 3 toughness in this format, so that's one thing to keep in mind, you know, but a lot of stuff can be taken out for 2. There are a lot of things with 1 toughness, and some serious threats that have 1 toughness. Yeah, the Rust Harvester, again, absolutely incredible card that, you know, if you can get a lot of artifacts in your graveyard, and keep in mind that spacecraft are artifacts. But we already went through that. The Scrapper, not great. I mean, it's basically like the ability on it is not, you know, if you can get a lot of lander tokens down, then maybe it's good, but to draw cards. But realistically, I don't see using this tap ability very often. I think if it was just 2 without the tap, it would be a lot more viable as a card, but as is, it just doesn't sit very well. 1/2 for 1 is like a reverse Savannah Lions, basically, I guess. This card is pretty much useless, I think. I mean, it destroys target artifact, which is okay, but put 5 charge counters on target spacecraft or planet you control. For 2 mana, I think if it was 1, I'd be a little more excited, but for 2, not very exciting. Terra Pact Intimidator is an incredible uncommon. When this creature enters, target opponent may have you create 2 lander tokens. In this Tezzeret idea of a deck that we may or may not make, I have a feeling opponents will not want to do that mode, but if they don't want to do that, then you put 2 1/1 counters on this creature, which a 4/3 for 2 mana, that's pretty good on turn 2. War Rager, not exciting. 2/3 for 3. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more tapped creatures, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So this is one of those tapped creatures matter creatures, which is, you know, tapped creatures is another thing. There's quite a few that enable that in white, and red also has a few as well. Again, not exciting. I mean, if you compare that to like the Intimidator, there's no comparison here. Turbo Drone's okay. It's a 2/3 for 3. Target creature you control gets +1/+1, gains haste until end of turn. Activated only as a sorcery. Now, I will say that I'm not going to go through every card every time I ever do a draft, but with this set being brand new, I figure like there's a lot of value to going through this, not just for the viewership, but also for myself. Like, this is something that I really want to do myself in order to get like a little more used to what's going on. Let's see here. Oops. Systems override. It's a way to steal a creature. So if you have a lot of sacrifice effect, it's like a traditional Rakdos thing where like you steal opponent's creature and then sacrifice it. If you have a lot of sacrifice outlets, this can be good. And I mean, especially when paired with something like this, whenever this or another creature or artifact you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. That's great. But I don't like in black, we don't seem to have a whole lot of like I didn't notice a whole lot of sacrifice outlets. So probably not for us. Orbital Plunge, absolutely fantastic. Great way to make another lander token, which is definitely going to help with the Tezzeret idea, potentially. Let's see. Debris Field Crusher, good card. When it enters, deals 3 damage, so it's, you know, a lightning bolt on a stick for 5. And if you can station this up for 8, then it's a flyer that gets +2/+0. So it's got like a Shivan Dragon kind of fire-breathing effect. That's all right. The Sky Warden, I wouldn't say that's a fantastic card. Yeah, at the beginning of your end step, non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn, then put a +1/+1 counter on it. But a 4/5 for 5 with reach, kind of filler, I would say. The Nebula Dragon, I think, has been performing pretty well. It's like a lightning bolt on a stick, but you got to get to 7 mana, which means probably paired best with green, where you can potentially ramp. All right, green has been, in my opinion, like really, really overperforming in this set. So let's see if we got anything good in green, because green is like where I'm really most excited to be. And I think other people are as well. So Gene Pollinator, tap and untap permanent you control. It's like Land of War Elves that has to tap something else as well, but it adds 1 mana of any color. So if you have this with lander tokens, this can be fantastic because you just tap the lander tokens, get some additional mana. So that's exciting. The Might is okay. I think it's kind of filler. This works actually really well with the Gene Pollinator because whenever it becomes tapped, another target creature you control gets +X/+X. So I've got 2 of those, which is not thrilling, but Blooming Stinger is okay. When this creature enters, another target creature you control gains Death Touch till end of turn. That's not bad. It has Death Touch itself. The Frenzy's Baloth, again, I think that's really exciting, especially when paired up against control. But in limited, there's not a whole ton of control in this format, in my opinion. Like, I mean, there are a few counterspells in blue, but they're not particularly fantastic, and I don't think people are picking them very high. Maybe in sealed, people might be putting them in for filler, but I don't know. But it's still a 3/2 trample haste for 2, that's fantastic. Tenderfoot, +1/+1 counter on this creature, activate only as a sorcery. The Biote Engineer Future, again, creates a lander token. And each creature you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each land that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. It's okay. You know, not the rare that I necessarily wanted to see in green, but it's good. I've got a Diplomatic Relations, which is a card that they had to errata before it was even released in paper, because it said target creature gets +1/+0 instead of target creature you control gets +1/+0, so you could have your opponent's creature punch a different opponent's creature. So yeah, that's basically your bite spell in green for this. Shattered Wings is okay. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, creature with flying. I think in this format, it's a lot better than disenchants have been in some other formats. Just again, because like spaceships are artifacts. Sky Stinger, it's basically something that blocks flyers, so it's meant to block spaceships. It's all right, but again, filler. I like the Drix Fatemaker, adds a counter on target creature, and then every creature you have with a counter on it gets trample. And the real beauty of it is that you can warp it in early, so you can just use it to get a counter, and then later on play it as a creature. Great little play on turn 2. Crasher is okay. Yeah, again, Trampler, Landfall, just pumps its power for the Landfall ability. I think if it pumped both power and toughness, it would be more exciting. Tapestry Warden gives everybody big butts, right? This is the Vigilance 3/4. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power stations permanents using toughness rather than its power. So, I mean, that might be all right. The Fungal Colossus is okay. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the number of differently named lands you control. We haven't seen what lands we have yet, but if we're just going to be 2 colors, then it's not that great. It ends up being a 6-drop, 5/5, which is not fantastic. Glacier Godmaw, I know I said the Angel might be the best uncommon, but this is also, this is blowing people's minds how well this is performing. So I joke that this is a 6/6 that should just read "You win the game." So for 7 mana, it comes down, it's Trampler, and when it enters, you create a lander token. And whenever a land you control enters, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain Vigilance and Haste until end of turn. So if you have 7 mana and you play this and then can play a land, it is a 7/7 Trampler that also gives all of your other creatures +1/+1 and Vigilance and Haste. It gives all of that to itself as well. So this is kind of a bit like a mini overrun. Like, it doesn't give everything trample, but it itself has trample. Because everything you have has haste, has Vigilance, your opponent's not necessarily going to attack you back. And in a board state where maybe you only need like a little bit more power to break through, it's incredibly powerful. If you compare this with dropping a land and then using a lander token, or doing that even the turn after it comes into play, if you can untap with this thing, it's pretty devastating. Brewguard Elite is a fantastic card. It's a 2 green and X, which however much X you want to play, that is the number of +1/+1 counters. And whenever it leaves the battlefield, it puts its counters on target creature you control, which is amazing. Like, so you warp it in for 1 green and X, put maybe 2-3 counters on something, and then play it next turn. You've got some very fat creatures. Station Monitor is incredible. There might be a world where we go blue-white. I mean, blue-white cares about artifacts as well. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, create a 1/1 colorless drone artifact creature token with flying, and it can only block creatures with flying. So again, works really well with Tezzeret. Now, I don't want to get too fixed on Tezzeret because he's not like a mind-blowing card or anything like that. He's pretty cool, but I don't even know that he's necessarily a win condition. So I want to be careful about that. But I'm just trying to figure out, because I think it would be fun to play. I don't think we're going to win a ton of games if we play the Tezzeret deck, but we'll see. Servandum the Lucent is a card that I had in my pre-release, and this thing comes down. The fact that it gives its ability when it enters is an enormous surprise attack for like a white-black go-wide aggressive deck. It's got Death Touch, Lifelink. Now, it's a bit hard to play out because it does require 2 black and 1 white, but it's got Death Touch, Lifelink, and when it enters or attacks, other creatures you control get +1/+0, gain Death Touch until end of turn. Opponents are not that likely to block your 1/1 and, now 2/1, I guess, creatures that have Death Touch. So you can really reset a board state when this guy hits the board. And that's pretty cool. The Biotech Specialist we already went through gets you get a lander token, and then anytime you sacrifice an artifact, creature deals 2 damage to target opponent. Wish I had more. Oh, Tanuk, yeah. Memorial Ensign. Whenever a land you control enters, he deals 1 damage to each opponent. And if this is the second time the ability is resolved in this turn, draw a card. So if you can play a land and blow a lander token, then you get to draw a card. That's quite nice. Torpedo is terrible, in my opinion. That's very much filler. Scrapbot. Oh my goodness. 2 Scrapbots? That's fantastic. 3/1 for 3. Exile opponent's graveyard, which is I mean, in this format, that's not very useful because there is not a ton of stuff that brings stuff back from the graveyard. Graveyard matter stuff is not a big thing in this format. The Golgari decks, I mean, there is a theme in Golgari that, you know, graveyards matter, but there just aren't enough cards that enable it. So Golgari doesn't feel like a very strong, archetype in this format. Tezzeret, again, whenever an artifact you control enters, put a loyalty counter on him. You can untap target artifact or creature. If it's an artifact creature, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So, I mean, you can be doing that every turn. That's 0 ability. You can be, you know, adding +1/+1 counters to all your creatures. So again, in the green archetype where counters do matter, that's quite useful. And I mean, we do have the Drix Fate Maker, which each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has trample. So that's quite all right. And I mean, that then combined with Glacier Godma, I don't know. I'm like, part of me really wants to go in the Gruul, like this red-green archetype. Anyway, his -3 is search your library for an artifact card with mana value 1 or less. I don't even know that we're gonna have something like that. I mean, we've got the Torpedo. I don't see. I mean, if let's say if we were to go green red, I mean, I guess we've got some spaceships. Could happen. And then, yeah, the -7 is you get an emblem with at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 3/1/1 counters on target artifact you control. If it's not a creature, it becomes a creature, becomes a 0/0 robot artifact creature. So this could go on lander tokens even. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. You could, I mean, there is a world where you can enable this -7 the turn the Tezzeret comes out. It's possible, not easy, I would say. Probably a little more easy with the station monitor, because when you double spell, if you could double spell into something that gives you a lander token or 2, then yeah, that is still going to be a lot of mana. Survey Mechan is kind of neat. It's like a lightning helix, but it takes 10 mana to activate that, and a 1/3 flying hexproof for 4 mana. Doesn't really feel good. And I mean, we got, no joke, we got no land. So this differently named lands you control, we're not going to be playing this. I mean, the best that we can hope for here is an 8 mana effect, and as much as I would like more artifacts, potentially, that I don't think is the way to do it. The Vestige is incredible. I mean, you can play this out on turn 4 for 4, and then when he leaves the battlefield, you can just drop a 4-drop onto the battlefield in his wake. He can also be used to station things, so you put him out on turn 4, he stations for 7, he drops another 4-drop. That's very impressive, and the Pinnacle kill ship, I think, works really, really well with that. I foresee maybe playing the kill ship as well in this deck. Now, again, we don't have a ton of ways to ramp. Like, green is okay. I mean, we've got the Gene Pollinator. The Might doesn't ramp. Let's see here. I mean, Bioengineered Future creates a lander token, which is kind of a ramp. The God Maw, but I mean, by that time you're at 7 mana anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I mean, that's basically our sealed package, so we can start putting some deck ideas together now. Let's see where we're at. I think we've talked enough about all the cards. So let's start with this Tezzeret idea. We'll get that. Maybe put in... well, we're definitely going to put those in. That and this. And let's say the torpedo as well. If we go red-green, then we've got these guys. Definitely taking the Broodguard Elite, the Glacier Godmaw, Tapestry Warden. Not thrilled to play that, but the Fate Maker for sure. Diplomatic Relations, 100%. Let's play the Baloth. The Baloth also works well with the Tapestry Warden because no, he doesn't. No, he's a 3/2. Oh well, never mind. The Pollinator is good. I would probably play the Stingers as nice early blockers. Those are the things that I'm the most thrilled to play in green. And we only need 6 more cards? All right. Well, in red, I would definitely play a Plasma Bolt. Now, how many times can I actually enable this is the question. Exile an artifact card from your graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So we've got, what? 2 artifacts? 3, 4 artifacts? Yeah, looks like 4 artifacts, right? 6 artifacts. Oh, right, because we also have a spacecraft. Oh, the Tapestry Warden's an artifact. Okay. Actually, let's just do this. Man, yeah. There's some good artifacts in white-blue as well. I mean, I wouldn't say this is good artifacts in white-blue, but a 1-drop, I guess they're okay. This is not an artifact, but it creates artifacts. The Debris Field Crusher, yeah. I mean, Turbodrone's not totally unplayable, neither is the Scrapper. The Rust Harvester itself. Oh, that has Menace as well. Right. That's all right. Okay, so I mean, we maybe play the Scrapper and the Turbo Drone. I just feel like playing Tezzeret would be a lot of fun. We're absolutely playing the Intimidator. That's a great way to potentially ramp. Orbital Plunge, we are absolutely playing. And then a lot of this stuff is a little bit more fillerish, but I mean, this does bring us to 40 cards. And they're 40 pretty strong cards. Absolutely not playing the Override. Yeah, if this was not just a sorcery, I think that would be stronger. I'm still kind of leaning towards that. Man, I wish we had a few more 3-drops. And even 4-drops, really. I mean, the Sky Stinger is a 3-drop, but it's not a particularly good one. It's not something I would be that excited to play. The Fungal Colossus, I really, again, it's more a thing for the land decks. I don't really see playing that in this deck. The Dragon, I mean, like, I really want this to work, but a 4/4 flyer for 7 just seems a little slow. And we just don't have that much ramp, I feel like. Like all the ramp we have, I feel like we're going to have to take turns off potentially. And it's like lander tokens, that sort of thing. So that I am absolutely not playing. I don't have that much to enable it either way. I mean, do we just take another really cheap play? That, that might be exciting. I mean, with Tezzeret, if you get that emblem out, I feel like that probably puts you really far ahead, maybe even into game-winning state. The might, it just does not. Yeah, I really don't think that's that useful. It's an okay 2-drop. 8 artifacts. I mean, at the very least, we have a lot of stuff here that we can play out really quickly and aggressively. We've got, what, 6 things here that enable us to get lander tokens? It's all right. And in terms of interaction, we've got Plasma Bolt, Orbital Plunge, we've got the Bite spell, yeah, Diplomatic Relations for 3 mana. Not fantastic, but it does give you +1/+0. Pinnacle Killship is, I guess, technically, and so is Debris Field Crusher. Those are technically interaction as well, and the Torpedo. I mean, if we can attack with the ship, we've only got 2 ships, right? Oh, yeah. Craft. We've only got 2 of them. That one stations for 8. And this one stations for 7. I don't know. Yeah. It's always the last card I always find is the most difficult. Either you're cutting a card and it's really challenging to figure out what to cut, or else vice versa, where you're trying to add one final card. That is always one of the hardest things. It's a 3-drop. I think, we are a little light on 3-drops. Our curve is a bit light there. All right, so we've got some good top end finishers. The Kill Ship potentially, the God Maw, the Vestige, maybe a finisher. I don't know how I feel about that. The Field Crusher is interesting. I mean, it's only a 1/5 flyer, but that combined with our big butt dude, the tapestry guy, where is he? What is he, a 4-drop? Yes, he's a 4-drop. Combined with that, he becomes a 5/5 flyer. A little more interesting. All right, what's our 16 creatures, 7 non-creatures. A lot of creatures. I didn't really get that much interaction, I guess. More green than red. Yeah, okay. And we've got, I mean, those lander tokens work fantastic, not only for ramping, but also for fixing. I cannot believe we did not get a single land in all of this. That's kind of nuts. Yeah, the only other artifact I could see playing is the Survey Mechan. I don't know. Do we play that rather than the Turbo Drone? Probably not. I mean, if it didn't sacrifice itself, target player draws 3 cards, gains 3 life. The draw 3 cards is really nice, I will say. And the fact that it's hexproof, but it is very blockable. I mean, the other thing is that there are a lot of sweepers in this format, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna stick with the 3-drop. Our curve is, I think that's good. All right, that's our deck. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Should we give it a name is the question. What do you think, chat? What should the name be? Tezzeret nonsense? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty Tezzeret nonsensical, I think. All right, let's ship this deck, no pun intended, and see where we get with it. I'm not expecting a whole lot. It's early days in this format. I still haven't figured out a lot of the cards. Most players haven't figured out a lot of the cards. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Totally unsolved format. Okay. ManaDrain the Brilliant. All right, I'm on the play. It would be really nice to have a green land. Ooh, man. Do I keep this? I mean, I can play first turn, pray that I draw into something green. If I draw a forest, this is a fantastic hand, but without it, we're going to be dead very, very quickly. So let's see. Let's see how it goes. That's all we can do. Wish there was a little more mana fixing in terms of lands. Okay, well, I mean, that gives me a turn 3 play. Again, not a great one, but it's something. Nothing with warp. Oh, no, the Broodguard Elite has warp. Okay. That's not what I wanted to see. Attack in, because that's got menace. Play that. Please, forest, please. That was me crossing my fingers, not, you know, the other thing. It's not a forest. Ah. Okay, well, I can't attack profitably anymore. I'm a little bit stymied here, unfortunately. He's got a flyer. I'm gonna lay a land and pass turn. This is very unfortunate. But that's how some of these games go. It was one of those hands where I felt like, you know, probably best to throw it back, but it was a very playable hand with a forest. I feel like the odds of potentially getting a forest at this point are not great, since we've already drawn a bunch of mountains, but who knows. In the pre-release, I flooded out so many times with land. I had to take 12 mulligans in 10 games. There was one game where I had to mulligan down to 4 cards because I kept drawing either 0 land, 7 land, 1 land, or 6 land. And, you know, often when it was either 1 or 6, those hands had practically nothing else in them. Amazing. Okay, we're back in the game-ish. Ish, I say. Definitely very ish. I mean, I still cannot play that Broodguard Elite. But I think we... Now, Relations is an instant. Get Tanuk down as a blocker. See if opponent's going to counter that. Holding up 4 mana, pretty suspicious. So, but again, the counter spells are not fantastic in this format. Is he just going to orbital plunge it, maybe? If he does, I'm okay with that. Nope. All right. Nothing. So, I mean, opponent's taken... Yeah, orbital plunge. There we go. Opponent's taken a couple of turns off, for sure. Oh, Scrapbot. Thank goodness. Yeah, I think we have just got to hit some land here. Don't we? Let's play this. I would really love to play this on one of my other creatures to get a bit more value from it, but I think I've got to. I think I've got to get rid of this. Oh crap! I could have tapped that to give the other thing haste. Oh well, that would have been way better. That's a punt for sure. All right. Yeah, opponent's got their own Rust Harvester. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that's not great. I think here we warp in the Broodguard Elite for everything we've got, which is 6. So it's 7. Probably going to want to chump with something, I'm going to guess. I'm going to attack with these 2, because that'll trade with pretty much anything. Presenting 10 damage. That's all right. Yeah, it's got to chump with something. All right, opponent's presenting 6 damage. I suspect they've got something else in hand. They can't orbital plunge the Rust Harvester, which is nice. They can, you know, eject it or bounce it or whatever. They can tap it down. All right, opponent's going to get in for 1. Turbo Drone really came in clutch there. I wish I had thought to attack with the Scrapbot, get in for an extra 4 the previous turn. But the Scrapbot did hold off, you know, some damage, which is nice. I'll take another land. I feel like opponent does have a counter spell, though. So I think Maybe we don't play the Broodguard Elite for everything? Little concerned about that. We have 2, so 5, so it would be for 4. It's probably a lot safer to play it for 4. He does have an artifact in the graveyard. Man, what do we do here? This is kind of nerve-wracking. Do we just go all in? Do we attack first? Let's do this. I am a little concerned that he has a counterspell. So here we're going to just attack. Attack with everything. Yeah, Desculpting Blast. That's not surprising. And yep, he's gonna... Oof. I have this horrible feeling we're going to get utterly blown out here. I think opponent has a counter as his last card. No, he doesn't. Wow, okay. All right. Now I think opponent can destroy my Broodguard Elite, which is all right. Yeah. There we go. Put that on there. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Does opponent have a land in hand is the question. If they do, we might be in a bit of trouble. If not, we've got an artifact in the graveyard. We can toast the Rust Harvester. That's a lot of damage. 4. Man, this is a close game. Is that game, though? I think that's game. If we do that, if we just hit him for 7, because that's anything, right? Play that, and then... yeah, that's game. Okay, so... and we trample through. Please don't have a combat trick. Yeah. All right, that's game. Wow, that was close. We were in the Rust Harvester race there. That was, that was wow, unbelievable. That was such a close game. That was like an arms race of Rust Harvesters, I guess. The Rust Harvester is fantastic. I was not expecting it to be quite that good, potentially, but I think I'm a pretty firm believer now in the power of the Rust Harvester. All right, so, I mean, that's one win. Oh, man, that gets the heart going. All right, let's try game two. Hopefully we don't punt like we kind of did there. It's hard to remember every ability that every card has in the first couple of days after the set comes out. Ooh, Vestige. Yeah, okay, well, we've got 2 mana, and we're on the draw. If we draw into something else, this is looking like a very good hand. We've got the Scrap Bot. The Vestige isn't particularly useful currently on turn 4, but I mean, yeah. Let's give this a try. There we go. Nice to see another land. Shieldmate, that's all right. I'm not going to block with this anyway, so may as well get in for a bit. Next turn we play the Scrap Bot. Wow, opponent is going off. I am not going to be able to attack. So let's just get down the bot, get a lander token, and pass the turn. If opponent attacks in, then we can block the Scrap Bot and then start pumping the Rust Harvester, I guess. I mean, we can also... Oh, wow. Oh, that's quite nice. Alright, take 5. Yeah, I think we warp this in now. And then we can get the Tapestry Warden down. Plus we get to draw a card, which is nice. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. Mr. Big Butt. Oh, Alfariel. Alright, take 2. What is it? Yeah, discard a card at random. Oof, that is just brutal. Realistically, do we have anything absolutely fantastic in our hand? That it's, I mean, the Intimidator, probably. Let's do this. See what he wants to do here. Probably give me 2 lander tokens, that's what I thought. And this. Yeah, if opponent wanted to block that, I was fine with it. We have got to start hitting some land, though. He's going to tap my Death Touch, possibly. The Warden? Alright. Oh, alright. Create a lander token. If he wants to get in for 6, that's okay. Nope. Hmm. It's a little awkward. If opponent's got another land next turn, it can tap. You can tap down one of my creatures. So let's go to combat. We will attack, I think, with the Stinger this turn. No, because he's just going to trade with the Prospector, which I do not want. I'm going to go no attacks, potentially. He's got 5/5s coming down next turn. Yeah, let's just pass turn. We're going to blow some of these lander tokens to get into a better spot next turn. If he plays down some 5/5s, we're going to Orbital Plunge or Diplomatic Relations them. See what opponent does anyway. Sculpting Blast. Oh, right. Yep. Can't really say no to that. Yeah, they enabled the Void. So that's all right. Get rid of that. Try this. We'll lose 2 creatures, but that's okay. Yeah, opponent creates a lander token. Let's go get a forest. 17-6, that's a pretty big deficit. Let's get the 7/5 down. I mean, do we get in for 1 is the question? Like, again, I'm not going to block with this, so I think so. All right, opponent's got ways to tap me down now. That's okay, I've got 2 blockers. Yep. Awesome. I think we just try to play this safe, maybe? I mean, as much as let's get the Death Toucher down first. Get in for 4. Yeah, he's going to tap down my Vestige again, possibly. All right. Okay, well, let's do this.
Defying me will be your last.
And opponent scoops. Wow, what a game. What an amazing game. All right, that with the Rust Harvester, I foresee that being quite a nightmare. Yeah, I mean, I was getting in for a lot this turn. And I've got a few blockers. Opponent's got 1 card in hand. Tezzeret's, I would not say that Tezzeret is that good of a card, but I mean, the fact that I could play that and, you know, get a loyalty counter on it, opponent probably thought I had tons of more artifacts in my deck. Who knows? But anyway, either way, yeah, I cannot believe that Tezzeret won a game for me. Fantastic. Either way, we're at 2 wins. I'm going to do maybe a couple more rounds. We'll see how this all goes. Oh, all right. So we've got an orb. Let's go to Mastery. Let's go spend an orb. What else do we get? Oh, Depressurize. Nice. And a pack of cards. I find I usually try to wait until the end of a set to open all my cards in order to, like, you know, prevent duplicate, like for the duplicate protection. But I have a feeling Edge of Eternities is not a set where I'm going to be able to do that. I think there's just way too much stuff going on that, you know, is going to require me to have some cards. The Turbo Drone. Let's get the Broodguard Elite. Let's do that. All right, fantastic. And then let's go to our collection. We'll Broodguard it up. I mean, the Broodguard Elite is a good enough card that I think that it deserves some special treatment in this deck that we were playing. Let's give it that. Man, we keep coming from behind with this deck. This is kind of kooky. It's not what I was expecting. Yeah. So there we go. Gene Pollinator, was that one that oh, right. This is not the... Yeah. All right. So let's try another game. I mean, realistically, this deck I put together for the fun of Tezzeret. If it gets a few wins, I'll be thrilled. We'll have to see if it goes all the way. On the draw, that's a lot of land. But I mean, we've got the Rust Harvester. Can play out the Torpedo. I mean, it's not good, but let's try it. It's a very slow hand. It's not what I wanted to see, but we've got a turn 1 play. I mean, we've technically got a turn 4 play, but I guess I can warp it in to get a card. Zookeeper Mechan, nice ramper. Cannot enable the void on that, unfortunately. However, I can do this, which is all right. And then we will attack. Get it for 1. I mean, maybe by turn 4 we draw into some sort of 4-drop and the Vestige becomes way more valuable. We're going to get in for 1. Stinger is a fantastic, fantastic drop. I'm going to do that and this. I am not going to let him get value off of this looter. Get in for 1. I mean, we've almost got enough to then be able to play the Vestige. Ooh. Yeah. I can't break through that Psionicist anyway. Looks like opponent has a double spell theme here. So we'll play the Baloth. I'm going to hold back the Stinger. Get in for 1. Draw a card and play out the Baloth. Yeah, the Pollinator is not what we wanted to see here. Alright. Opponent's still on 2 land? Wow, okay. It's good for us. I mean, maybe we should have just played out the Pollinator. We could have... That's fine. That does not bother me. Alright, pass turn. I think if, like opponent lays land. Kanazoa. Put that in. I'll take 2. It's alright. I think here we just kill the Mechan, to be quite honest. Yeah. Kill that. Get in for 2. Okay. Ah, crud, I forgot to blow the lander token. I mean, we really need to get that Vestige down. Probably should have did that a couple of turns ago, but adding to the board state here would have been good. But, I mean, subtracting from opponents is also alright. Doesn't look like opponents got a lot to do here either. The Harvester is just continuing to pick away. Oh, alright. Here, yeah, I think we just slam this. Or is dealt damage. Alright, opponent's going to take that. They are starting to make a comeback here, that's for sure. Stabilizing a little bit. Have to be very careful not that the Rust Harvester matters, but we can use it as a blocker. Alright. Thin out the deck. I don't really see wanting to station this. It would have been useful a couple of turns ago, unfortunately. Let's get in for 4. What do? We station it with our -3 guy? Is that... That doesn't... That's not useful. Not useful at all. One's gonna... Yeah, kill that. Wow, this is pretty cool. So we'll play this for 9? I'm going to play it for 6, I think. Actually, wait. That is 7. Which gives me 2 just in case opponent has something. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, let's do that. We can station this. I mean, we're continuing to present some threats here, which is all right. Yeah, opponent's going to stun. That's all right. Get in for 1 next turn. That's good. Opponent's tapped out, so 4, 8, 9. Station this. It's a lot of threats. I mean, that's 3 lethal creatures. Mouth is a good. Yeah, that's good. And opponent scoops. Yeah. There's no getting through those 3. Can bounce 1, chump 1. The other one is gonna hit pretty hard. All right, so that's 3 wins, 1,200 gems, 3 packs. That's all right. Did anything come in the store today? I always love checking the deals store. I don't know. I know a lot of players don't care that much about cosmetics, but they can be fun. Stinger. All right, 3-0. Let's try another one. It's a pretty good deck, I must say. Even with that slow... oh, wow, we're already in a game. With that slow starting hand, we managed to do pretty well. I definitely made a few mistakes. So, this is quite a good hand. Like this. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I wish I was on the play here, but On the draw, it's okay. I mean, it's a bit awkward because there's a lot of 2-drops, but I think if we, make a lander token, opponent might not do anything turn 1, turn 2. There's not a lot of premium stuff early on. Let's try to get the biotech specialist down first. Get that lander token. Worst case, we've got a blocker. Nothing. Okay. I feel like I'm getting a little bit baited here into a counterspell, but I guess not. Alright. Either way, we've got a decent attacker / blocker on the board. Wow. Alright. That's a good play. Only needs 4 to station this up, and it's a 2/2 flyer. Let's get him down, because if we play Tapestry Warden next turn, then that's going to be pretty strong. And he blocks the Psionicist profitably. Let's see here. Sure, yeah. All right. Get in for 2. Yeah. Ooh, the Fate Maker is nice too. The question is, do we want to... Let's do this. I'm going to play my own Intimidator. Does opponent have a counterspell? Yeah. Gets down. Wow, 4/3. That means opponent probably has some sort of way to deal with it. Think I'm just gonna hold up and use my lander token. I get in for 2 though. This deck needs some serious mana. So yeah. Alright, let's hold up. Use our lander token on opponent's turn. We can start picking away for 1 damage every time we sacrifice an artifact. Start potentially getting ahead in the race. Opponent's only got 2 cards in hand. Keeping up 1 for Plasma Bolt, probably. Yeah, in case they draw into a Plasma Bolt. I mean, I guess that's what that is. All right, well, that was a good play. They came back in the number of cards. Oh, wow, okay. Wasn't what I was expecting. See what opponent does for attack. Probably, I'm going to guess just the sweeper. Let's go get another forest. All right, we've got access to 6 land here. It's a good time for some fairly big plays. think we probably actually... I think we want to warp this in, play the stinger, play the torpedo, and then next turn... Yeah. Yeah, let's warp this in. I'm going to play it on the Intimidator by 4. And then I'm going to attack with him and the Stinger. See what opponent wants to block with. But I have a feeling we're just going to get a 2-for-1 here in either case. Or we hit him for 7, which is all right too. I mean, if we do get in for 7, then potentially Torpedo can destroy something next turn to do 2 more damage, get him to 5. And, you know, he's looking a little grim at that point. But yeah, getting a Stinger in and a Torpedo. Don't want to lock this board state up too much because we do have like some pretty good aggressive creatures. The Death Toucher is fantastic. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't blocked my Death Toucher with the Intimidator. I mean, that would be... I feel like that would be like a pretty natural block because realistically the Intimidator is not doing much of anything right now. And to block a 2/2 Death Toucher, I mean, that's a trade I would make. I would definitely trade my 2/1 do nothing for a 2/2 Death Toucher that has actually gotten in for quite a bit of damage. I think the Stinger's done all like 4 of the 6 damage at this point. But opponent's working with quite a bit of mana for next turn, 6, potentially 7. Could drop something very interesting, but I mean, if opponent does drop something really good, we'll have the Torpedo on the board. Okay, they get in for 7. Let's play that, and this. Oh, yeah, I should have probably did that. Oh well, first, but... Alright. Next turn, we can play the Fate Maker again. I mean, opponent may also have DC'd. Like, he's burned through all his countdowns. So, he doesn't look like he's doing anything, unfortunately. I mean, it's too bad. Like, this game is... I'm a bit ahead, I would say. But, I mean, opponent has 4 cards in hand. They might be able to play out a whole host of things this turn. Never really feels good winning on a rope, but I guess we'll take it. All right, so how many of you played in the pre-release? Like, what are your thoughts on Edge of Eternities? I have been loving it so far. It is definitely not as balanced as Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy arguably may have been like one of the most balanced sets ever. So, yeah, and I guess that's it. Well, that's unfortunate that we weren't really that far ahead. I guess whatever opponent played in that turn was going to be fairly decisive. Anyway, so yeah, if you've been enjoying Edge of Eternities, if you've pulled anything great out of packs, like, leave some comments. I want to hear like what you guys are enjoying about this set so far. It is brand spanking new, so I mean, I know there's not like tons to talk about yet, but yeah, like Tezzeret, I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping to get a Tezzeret in my sealed pack. Not because of the power level, like, he's cool, but it was more that I just wanted to play him. And like, we've only had a chance to drop him once. I really wanted to actually take him for a spin, see like how that would net out. Unfortunately, we didn't even get to trigger any of his abilities yet. So we've still got a few more games. I mean, at the very least, we've got 3 more games if we lose all of them. But yeah, we're at 4 wins now. 4-0 for a deck like this is, I'm not going to complain about that. That's fantastic. Gives us about enough gems to do a draft, which is cool. A free draft plus like 9 packs of cards is all right. Yeah, no, I really wanted to try to play some artifact synergies, try to play Tezzeret and see how wacky that could be. I think like potentially Boros or Azorius might be better matchups for Tezzeret. He is not a planeswalker that can kind of stand on his own, let's say. He's something you have to build around. Again, because he does not have a plussing ability, and he doesn't have any abilities that really help him defend himself that well. So those are usually those make a planeswalker not too great. Like if I get him in my hand and I have nothing on board, there is no way that I can play him. I mean, even if opponent only has like a 1/1 creature, it's he needs something to be able to protect himself on board, or else he gets run down very quickly with no way to increase his ability. But if you're playing a deck that can spit out a ton of artifact tokens or has a lot of cheap casting artifacts, he can also get very big very quickly, and he can do his ultimate like as soon as he hits the board potentially. If again, you only need 3 artifacts, and there are a lot of like 1 and 2 casting cost artifacts. At the very least, I see him as a card that I can have in the deck that is definitely going to trade for something of opponents. Like if I'm going to play him on the board, then opponent is probably going to play some sort of premium removal to get rid of him, even in a state where he's not particularly useful. Especially at this point in the format, it's like nobody's really figured it out, and he does represent a significant threat, in at least in theory, based on the fact that he's a planeswalker. He's the only planeswalker in the set, and like that's gonna freak some people out. So when they see him hit the board, they're probably gonna snap react to be like, we've got to get rid of that guy right now. And I mean, to be fair, that's totally valid. All right, I'm going to do one more draft, I think. I'm scheduled to stream for another 20 minutes, and I've really been enjoying this. This is fantastic. But I'm trying to do shorter streams to start in order just to iron out all the technical things and learn a little bit more about how all this works. So let me know what you guys think, please. Like email me, like leave some links in the comment, or some comments in the comments. Let me know what you think about how this is going. Are there ways that I can improve it? What you want to see on my stream, and what your thoughts are just in general on how Edge of Eternities is going. Again, the cards have been amazing. The artwork is fantastic. Like I really, really love the artwork in this set, more so than any other set before. There are, again, not to make a pun, but there are some stellar pieces of art in this format. And some of the premium cards are even more beautiful. Some of the stuff in the bonus sheet, the re-released lands, unbelievable. Some of the power that has been coming back in terms of lands. And traditionally in Magic, lands are some of the hardest things to get. Like playing in Arena, every time I want to build a standard deck, it's like, or well, even worse in something like Historic or Brawl, you need 30 rare wildcards to finish this deck, and I look at it and it's all lands. Like it's the lands that I don't have, because often lands are rare. In Arena, rare wildcards are the premium, the most premium of the most premium, and so you're constantly burning wildcards to get lands. Now the pain lands that are back in this set, the shock lands or whatever, they're at least something that has cycled back. So it's kind of cool that I already have like, a few of the lands that are like the rare lands that are in Edge of Eternities. And whenever they do these reprints, it always feels kind of good, because like you feel like you're at least a little bit ahead. Because yeah, traditionally, I mean, when I first started playing on Arena, which was I think when Strixhaven first came out, Strixhaven was a fantastic set. I really loved the learn mechanic in Strixhaven, where you could actually go get a card, and it could be a card that was reacting to the board state. So you had to strategize to figure out like, what card in my sideboard is going to have the most impact now. And it's not just like top decking where you're hoping for the right thing. It's like I can actually pick a card that will have the biggest impact on the current board state and potentially like rocket me ahead in the game. Anyway, when Strixhaven first came out and I was doing drafts in Strixhaven, I was often just rare picking the lands, because I needed I needed rare lands. I had no wild cards when I first started playing. I had no rare lands, and those rare lands were way more powerful than like the common level comes into play tapped lands. So in order to build competitive standard decks, you need those rare lands. Anyway, all that to say that the bonus sheet is fantastic. There's a ton of historical, amazing lands coming back. Strip Mine is back in the bonus sheet, which is something that back when I first used to play Magic the Gathering in the revised days, Strip Mine was a big thing back then. Everybody played 4 Strip Mines in their deck because Legends was like still a thing back then. So people used to play Tabernacle of Pendrell Vale. People used to play Library of Alexandria. I had a Library of Alexandria back in the day that got strip mined many, many times. That was a stupidly powerful land. And to, spend $1 strip mine to burn through a Library of Alexandria, or what was the other one? The Mishra's, the really expensive one. I had a full set of antiquities, so I had a Mishra's Workshop. Was that the one that taps for 3 mana that you can only use to play out an artifact? It's been a minute since I had those cards, but that was back in the day, man. Like glorious times of classic Magic. To see Strip Mine coming back is just, I don't know, it kind of tickles me. Hilarious. All right, so we've got about 20 minutes left. Let's try to get one more game in and then see how that goes. Oh, wow. Already in a match. I mean, I guess there's a lot of people playing today, being, the first, like yesterday was technically the first day to play. Wow, this is a great hand. Again, a little awkward, but not too bad. I feel like we'll probably play Baloth on turn 2. I mean, the kill ship's going to be real awkward, but I'm on the play, so I think I can get in with the Baloth real quick. Either way, we're playing a forest. See what opponent does. Oh, amazing. Yeah, here comes the Baloth. Oh, the cute butt doggo. Do I burn my Baloth, though? I mean, that's a great blocker. Do we just go for the scrap bot? Yeah, let's try to be efficient here. Let's play this. I am gonna attack in with the Baloth. See if opponent blocks. They do. All right, get in for 2. Play out the scrap bot. Roast his graveyard. Not the most efficient thing in the world. Oh, wow. Good play. Really good play. Okay, let's get down the specialist. And I think I'm going to put down a block. No, I think I'm probably better off just starting to get some lander tokens online, because then we can double spell next turn. Yeah, let's just pass turn. Whoa, my goodness. Okay. Ay, that's backbreaking. Yeah, I'm not going to block that. Let's do this. No blocks. No. 6 mana. Okay, Pinnacle Kill Ship is nearly on its way, which is all right. I think this turn we need to get down the Stinger. This is not a particularly efficient use of mana, but we have got to hit that Pinnacle Kill Ship next turn, or else Arabaroid is going to take this game over completely. I'm going to attack with the specialist just to get 1 damage in. If he wants to block, that's fine. Absolutely fine. Yeah, there's no need to do anything here. I will bounce his Tenderfoot against my Stinger. If that's the case, he might just have a kill spell for it. Oh, that's pretty backbreaking too. Oh man. Yeah, I'm blocking that immediately. Awesome. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet, that's for sure. Let's get another red here. Now we may be, though. That is not bad. We may actually be able to stabilize. I'm not blocking with that, so we'll station. Take 6. I mean, we're still at 17. We're kind of winning the race here. Sky Stinger is all right. Let's play the torpedo. Let's toast that. You know, I'm still not blocking, so what do we need to get here? 7? It's a lot. We're unfortunately not going to be able to make it that far, I don't think. But this will be helpful. Do that.
Soon this system will be mine. Soon you will grovel.
All right.
Work harder.
Oh, we should have stationed. That was a punt. Wow. Oh well. Oops. Okay, well, I mean, we are going to Vanishing Light on Tezzeret? No! Oh wow, okay. Cool. Yeah, that was such a bad punt. Let's do this to block that. He's gonna get in for 3. Brutal punt there. That's not helpful. Yeah, I could have had this up to 4 now, which would have been a lot closer. I could have potentially even stationed it twice. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, well, I mean, it's tough because what do you do? What do you do? Yeah, opponent had a very explosive start there with the Ouroboros. Bioengineered future is all right. What do we have here? Okay. Need something. That's something. All right. That's something fantastic, actually. Especially because it creates a lander token. Gets rid of opponent's graveyard. All right.
My will.
An opponent scoops. unbelievable. That's incredible. What a fantastic game. I I can't believe it. That was literally exactly what we needed. Yeah. Creature enters. Oh man. Lander token was going to put him up to 7. And then, yeah, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put 3/1/1 counters on target artifact you control. That's incredible. So that goes then on the Pinnacle kill ship. That becomes a 10/10. I mean, we'd lose the Tezzeret, but at that point, I'm not particularly upset by that. There's no way that opponent's going to be able to get through that. Wow. And then, yeah. Fantastic. These games have been down to the wire. I cannot believe my luck in some of my draws here. Lumbering Laundry. All right. Murders at Karlov Mansion was no doubt a very odd set. All right, so that's 5 games in my sealed deck. I may continue this on Saturday is the next time I'm scheduled to draft, or to stream. But I may do a little bit earlier. I'd really like to get some drafting in, so I might do some unscheduled streaming as well. Again, I'm trying to just do quicker streams for now, since it's my first week streaming, an hour, a couple hours here and there, to make sure that everything is working, that things are kind of going the way I want. And I'm trying to spend a bit of time and energy like building up my streams, making nicer graphics, like adding links, I have a few other friends on Twitch and on YouTube. So I've been trying to link them up and figuring out like what is the best thing to do. And then I've been like making some shorts and stuff. So also, I've got other social media. So please, if you are interested in what I'm doing and you want to stay up to date on all of my goings on, you don't want to miss any streams, please follow along and yeah, drop a like, drop some comments. I am really excited to hear from all of you about what you've been thinking about Edge of Eternities, and even like Final Fantasy just ended, and that was a fantastic set. I think in the years that I have played Magic, and to be fair, I've jumped in and out of it a number of times. I started playing during Revised, and I jumped out of it for a long time, but every so often I check back, like in those almost 30 years, I would check back in to see like how things are going and, play a set here and there. Like I loved Onslaught. That was a very fantastic, like the mechanics in Onslaught were great. And some of those have existed even to this day. And they tightened up a lot of rules in that amount of time. Like when I got out of the game was when like Ice Age, like Fallen Empires had come out, and then Ice Age, and then there was Homelands and the Legends reprint thing, which was Chronicles. And there was not a lot of good going on. Like 4th edition and 5th edition just kept removing more and more power from the game. And it became, I'm going to say, uninteresting to me. Like it was pretty uninteresting the way that the game was starting to pan out. So I sold all my cards. I quit the game, which is unfortunate. I mean, I had a lot of very expensive cards by today's standards. And right after I quit was when the game like really picked up again, because the Urza's block came out, and then, the sets after that were fantastic. There was like some really powerful stuff again, some really interesting mechanic combinations that just didn't exist in like Alpha Beta Unlimited Revised 4th edition. I mean, in the limited block of Alpha Beta Unlimited, or I guess Alpha Beta and then Unlimited was Unlimited, but you had stuff like, things that would give all merfolk +1/+1, and there was only one merfolk. So those mechanics just didn't really exist, because it's not like today where you have like summon human soldier. Back then, when you like the summon would be generally the name of the creature. So if you summoned Rock of Cure Ridges, it was, it is a Rock of Cure Ridges. It's not a rock, it's not a bird. It was very, very specific. So generalizing creature types was an enormous bonus. And then changing a lot of the mechanics of the game, where they removed interrupts, they removed mana burn, they removed ante. I'm going to make some videos delving into the bizarre history of like some of the earlier Magic cards that I'm sure if you are a bit older, you probably remember some of this stuff if you've been in the game for a while. But man, like back in the day, there were some really bizarre cards. So If you're interested in learning a little bit about like some of the weird cards from the very early days of Magic, then drop me a follow, drop me a like, subscribe to stay up to date on what I'm planning to do with that. All right, so I'm going to sign off here. We've only got a couple of minutes left in the scheduled stream, and this has been an absolute blast. I cannot believe this deck has got 5 wins so far, and 2 of them are literally off of Tezzeret just being absolutely explosive. I was not expecting him to perform all that well, and I have a feeling that as this format goes on, people are going to be a little less concerned about Tezzeret. But that Scrapbot and Tezzeret together, that is insane. And the fact that I got 2 of them, that is such an explosive combination. The fact that the Scrapbot will put 2 counters on him immediately, and worst case, you can always use the Scrapbot to either attack or to station something and then untap it. Like when I played the Scrapbot, that was what I was thinking of doing. I'm like, okay, well, I'll station the Pinnacle kill ship, and then use the 0 ability to Tezzeret to untap. But like I definitely wanted to look and think about that -7 ability as well. But the fact that that plays onto the Pinnacle kill ship and animates it as an artifact creature is nuts. It wouldn't be a flyer, I don't think, because it's not like the full ship. But I mean, who cares? Like the board stabilizes at that point, and then I can start attacking into opponent. The next turn, all I need to do is station it a couple of times in order to then get it flying, and that's game. Like, unless opponent has something to deal with that, which clearly he did not. The Pinnacle kill ship, I did not really know that I was going to ever be able to enable it. I mean, I did totally punt there where I could have tapped my bot and then untapped him with Tezzeret to get like another 2 on there. That feels bad, but again, I just had the ultimate draw off the top. I think that was probably the best thing that I could have hoped to draw. So that's fantastic. All right, well, it's been a blast. I'm really enjoying streaming. I used to do radio broadcasting back in the day, and it's fun. I haven't done that for years. It's really fun to get back and do a little bit of this stuff again. All right, so thanks very much for watching. If you didn't catch the stream, then I hope you enjoy the VOD. I'll have all that stuff posted on both Twitch and YouTube. And until next time, this is Mint.